Hello and welcome to the Latah Valley Fiber Co. podcast. My name is Tiffani. Thank you for joining me today. It is April 11th and I hope you all are doing well and have been busy crafting. So I have a few things to show you. No finished objects, but I do have a couple works in progress and a few new cast-ons that you haven't seen. So let's get started. First off, you can follow me on Instagram at Latah Valley Fiber Co. You can find my shop online at latahvalleyfiberco.etsy.com. And if you'd like to message me, you can do that through my email, lvfiberco@gmail.com. I am currently having a sale in my shop, 20% off until Monday the 15th. So if you're looking for some organically dyed yarn, I'm your gal. Check it out if you'd like. Okay, so let's talk about a few projects that I'm working on. I don't have any finished objects this week, but I do have a few new cast-ons because I was getting a little bored. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about were my socks for my husband's Advent. And these in particular are the pattern is the graphic chevron by Patent Croix socks. I'm using my own hand-dyed yarn, which is the twisted copper in fingering weight. And the needle size I'm using is US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter. I'm doing DPNs, but 2 socks at a time. And then I started these on March 19th. And I've kind of hit a stall with them because they're a bit of an interesting construction, which I've never done before, and I'm kind of over it, truthfully. So this is the yarn I'm using. I have this in a sock set in my shop. It is currently on sale. And this is the twisted copper. You get the 20 gram mini for heels, toes, and cuffs, which is fun. I am using my DPN, so I have them in a cozy because, stitches fall off. So I am doing 2 at a time, and they're both in the same place, which is at the toe. So you'll see this is the toe, and you'll see that it's an interesting construction because where's the rest of the foot? So this pattern, I've never done this type of a construction before where you knit the top of the foot and the toe. You leave a certain number of stitches, I think there's 16 on here, and then you pick up and you do the heel. And then the bottom of the foot, the bottom of the toe, and then you seam it all together. So my goal was to follow the pattern. What the pattern said I would do so that I could learn some new techniques, get out of my comfort zone a little bit, and it's really out of my comfort zone. So both socks are at the toe stage. So I need to do, I've finished the top of the foot. Now I need to come around and do the heel and then the bottom of the foot. And since I'm doing them 2 at a time, it's, it's more of a slog. I love this patterning. If I were to do this on my own, I would follow this and then just do a heel flap and gusset, and then knit the foot and the toe, and then Kitchener the end together. So I'm not quite sure what they're doing here and why they're doing it this way. But that's the joy of following the pattern and finding out what's going on. So these have been on hold for a while. I haven't knit on them actually for a little bit. Instead, I cast on another pair of socks, and yeah. So this pattern, graphic chevrons, I have it in my knitwit bag, which I which I sewed up a couple weeks ago. Actually, it's probably been a month by now. So I do need to finish these up because it's April 11th, like I said, and I have cast on the second April socks, but I do need to finish these chevron ones. Okay, the next project I have a little bit of progress on is the Ginny Cardigan. It's actually just the Ginny, but it's a cardigan by Andrea Mowry. I am using my own hand-dyed yarn. US 8 5mm is what I got gauge on, but then the fabric was too open, so I decreased to the 4mm size, which was actually the pattern called for the 4mm. Okay. I started this March 20th, and I have gotten down to the cast off. I did the ribbing, and then I followed the pattern, so it's a 3-inch ribbing, and then you bind off loosely. So I'm all done with the body, which means I just need to, the pattern, I thought you would go to the sleeves and cast those on, but it actually has you cast on the collar next. So you pick up on the right side and you pick up stitches all the way around, up over here along the back of the neck and down, and then you come up and you do some short row shaping on the back, I think is what the pattern said. I have read ahead just a little bit, enough to know that they want you to do the collar next, but I'm really excited to wear this. I think it's going to be amazing. It's been a really fun knit. It's really soft. The yarn's just amazing. I dyed this yarn specifically for this project. I wanted a navy gray, and that's what I got. So it's wonderful. So I was excited. In fact, the socks, the chevron socks, pretty much were stalled because I was knitting on this. And I really wanted to have it done. So this is what I have in my cake, which I need to pick up that collar, like I said, and start knitting on that. But I might put a stall on this to get me to do the heel and finish those socks, because May is coming up and I need to plan the socks for that too. So I forgot to mention, I sewed up this bag a couple weeks ago, and I am keeping the Ginny Cardigan in the purple bag. So that is it for my cardigan. I really like it. It's very easy to follow the pattern. Andrea Mowry is a professional, so her patterns are wonderful. Okay, so that I started March 20th. I am, someone asked on the last vlog if I was going to have bags in my shop, these types of bags. And so my husband has mentioned to me a couple times when I first started my business last year. He said, you ought to make up some of those bags. I'll bet they would sell really well. So I just never did it because the market is pretty saturated with very good makers, sewists. of bags, and I'm kind of a mediocre sewist. My lines aren't straight. I love sewing, but they're handmade for sure, you can tell. So I did learn some new techniques as to how to line up this edge right here. But, you know, the market's kind of saturated. So, but somebody seems interested. So I thought I would make 20 project bags and put them in my shop and see how the reception is for them. So they will be coming in the first part of June. So watch for those. And of course I'll be promoting them as well. So you won't miss it if you follow my channel. Okay, next one is a Sophie Scarf. I cast this on March 29th. I am knitting it, the Sophie Scarf, if you don't know, is by Petite Knit. Most people know that. It's a very popular pattern the last year or maybe 2 years. The yarn I'm using is by Knitting McPurley. It's that Christmas Advent from 2023. And I have gone around and around and around wondering what to do with these minis. They're 10 grams. There's 25 of them. And she had you make ornaments for your tree, and I wasn't interested in that. I do a very minimalistic Christmas tree, and so I put lights on it. That's basically all I do. So I wasn't planning to make the ornaments, and but what do you do with all these minis that are just kind of, they're made for ornaments? It's not like a fade or anything like that. So I decided a Sophie Scarf would be great. So what I did is I took the grays and the blues, I laid them out in kind of a fade, and the needle size I'm using is a 3.5 millimeter. I started with the gray here, and then you can see the lighter gray, and then this light greeny yellow, kind of a mint green, and then this pretty blue. And then I'm almost through this blue into this darker blue. And then there's one more dark blue. So I thought that would be pretty as a fade. What I should have done though is measured the weight of the yarn, because I think I put 6 10-gram skeins together, which I didn't write that down. I should have. And then weighed it so that, because the Sophie Scarf for the large, it has you start with, I don't know, 6, can't remember, stitches there, and you increase to 33 stitches. Well, that's what I did, and then I started decreasing. And I realized that, I'm not going to get through all this yarn. I'm going to have some left over. So I have a set that is pinks and purples, which I'm also, as soon as I'm done with this one, I'll cast that one on. And I learned some things. I'm going to measure how much I have and then just increase to half of the weight. And then I'll know, which means I probably have to increase to more than 33 stitches, but that's okay too. These scarves are really nice. They're small, but they're nice to be able to wrap around once or twice around your neck for warmth. So that's kind of what I'm going to do with the pink one. All right. I think it's really pretty. It's not quite fading. It's more like a color block. So I may in the pink one add a mohair or something like that to maybe help with the faded look. So that's a Sophie scarf. I started that the tail end of March, so I've been working on it here and there. It's kind of it's a fun, kind of mindless pattern, which is nice. Okay, so let's move on to the next new cast on, which is a pair of socks. Okay, this next pair of socks is for April. It's for my husband's Christmas advent. Let's see. Is this 8? 8 of 24? This is 8 of 24. Okay, so I am just doing a vanilla sock. So with with the chevron, I'm kind of, the initial patterning was great. I loved that part of it. It was very addictive, and that knit up really fast. This piecing together the foot has kind of driven me a little nuts. So I wanted something that was just knitting. I could just knit. So I'm going to do a vanilla pair. I picked out a fun sock color. This is my own hand-dyed yarn. It's called Easy on Me. It's in fingering weight. It's 80% wool and then 20% nylon. I'm using US, let's see. These are US 2.75 millimeter. And I'm doing it on this really small, I'm doing 2 at a time, as you can tell. But it's on this small circumference. So it is a little fiddly. It's a little too small for 2. I don't know if this is a 12 inch or a 16 inch probably. Feels kind of like 12, but it's probably at least a 16. So I like it. This is enough going on that I don't feel like you need a pattern. So it's really pretty. I love how the colors are playing out here. This one on this side, which you can't really see because it's kind of scrunched up. I love this right here. That's really pretty. So there's some sharp saturated colors, and then there's some muted colors. So I think it plays really well with the socks. So these socks I cast on 24 stitches, 12 on each side, and then same over here on the second pair. Then I increased to 68 stitches before I just began knitting in the round. So I'm about an inch past the toe. So I have a lot of work to do on these. I was thinking about getting another set. These are the Clover circular needles. I think I bought them at Joann's. So I thought I might swing by there today and get another set, and then I would just, it would be a little easier, not so tight, because it kind of bunches, you know, and then you've just got this little cord that you're trying to, you know, and it gets a little fiddly. So I have done one pair on these before, which I didn't have that issue. So let's see, is that it for this one? Yep. So this I'm doing toe up. It is number 8 of 24. So I'm getting there. But it would be nice to be done with these by the end of April, because then May socks are on the needles, or need to be on the needles. I was ahead on his socks, and then I cast on some other things because they're fun. Okay. The last two projects, they've kind of been languishing a little bit. I've been working on them, but not very much. So this first one is the See My Vest by Emily Baudouin. I cast this on March 11th, so we're a month in. And I'm using some hand spun yarn and then hand dyed. I can't remember the fiber content. It's wool, and it's soft, but I can't remember the content of it. I am using US 8, which is a 5mm. This is my yarn. It's really beautiful and soft. So, I've knit probably an inch on this. Oh dear, I'm losing stitches. Should put some stoppers on here. It's kind of bunched on here. I should get a different, but as you can see, it's making my needles blue, because that's also the issue, is that the color is coming off on my hands as well as the needles. So I didn't want to ruin another pair of needles, so I'm just making it work. Here is the armhole, here. And I was about an inch down. Oh, so maybe I've done 2 more inches. Yeah, 2 more inches. I am doing a set of 2 increases under the armpit, under the arm, to kind of make it go out just slightly around the middle section, which I think will fit better. Even though it looks like from the pattern it kind of has that oversized shape anyway, I just wanted to be sure, because there's nothing worse than knitting a full garment and it doesn't fit around certain parts of your body. So I've done 1 increase. I'm gonna knit 5 rows, do another increase, and then be done. So then it's just knitting until I think 11 inches before adding the ribbing. So I'm getting there. This is what it looks like from the front. And I think this vest will be really nice. I'm excited for it. The downside, I think I would have this vest done if it wasn't for the yarn. And it's not that the yarn is unpleasant to knit with, it's actually very soft. It's just that my hands are completely blue by the time I've knit an hour on it. So I don't like that. It's just a mindset, I think. But, you know, I'm getting there. So that's the See My Vest by Emily Baudouin. Oh my goodness. Gotta pull these out. I keep dropping stitches. So I have 2 skeins left. They're pretty big, so I think I'll have plenty to finish the ribbing. So once you knit the body, you add the ribbing on the bottom, then you come back and you pick up the ribbing on the sleeves and around the neck. So, yeah, it'll be done by the next time, I'm hoping. Anything else on that? No, I think that's it. The last work in progress, which is a continual work in progress until January of 2025, is my temperature blanket. This is a temperature blanket by Handy Little Me. I'm knitting it for the year 2013, which is the year I got married. And then I'm using Woodland Tweed by Knit Picks. I bought a pack, and then I realized that I needed double the amount of yarn, basically, so I had to buy more. And I'm using US 7, which is a 4.5 millimeter. I cast on 240 stitches, and I'm doing the pattern by Handy Little Me, that temperature blanket, because my husband is also doing a temperature blanket, and then a friend is doing a temperature blanket, and they're doing garter stitch, just rows. And so I wanted to do something a little different, and I like patterns. I like patterns a lot. So I wanted something that would be a pattern. So I cast on down here, and these are colder temperatures, these greens and then browns, and then a little warmer and a little warmer, and then this reddish mauve color is very warm. So you can see, I think this was April 1st of this year. No, that wouldn't be right. I think April 1st was down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it's, oh, I am 2 days behind, actually. So that wouldn't be right anyway. Yeah. So here's my progress. But I am 2 days behind. So let's move that up. This is getting very warm on my lap. So I knit on it in the morning and when it's cold in the house. And yeah, my lap is warm. It's very soft, squishy. It's, oh, if you get a chance to knit with that yarn, it's very nice. It's alpaca, so that's where and look, it's pretty substantial already, and I've got many more months to go. Probably what I could have done is like a lap blanket. This one's probably going to fit on my bed. It's going to be so big. But there you go. It's squishy and lovely. So I am keeping it in this bag here. I have a bunch of yarn cakes in there. It sits by my recliner over here, and I'll get coffee in the morning, and then I'll sit and I'll knit a row. Although I'm 2 days behind at the moment. So I love that blanket. It is so soft, squishy, warm, and fun to knit on. I like the pattern a lot. Okay, so I am over here. It's the, oh no, oh dear, I'm actually 3 days behind because today's the 11th. So I mark them off as I do them. So yeah, there you have it. That's it from me. I feel like that was a lot of knitting, but no finished projects. So maybe next week I'll for sure have the Sophie Scarf done and a pair of socks. Well, actually, because it's 2 weeks away. So I hope you all are doing well and enjoying spring and you're crafting, whatever you're getting into these days. So I'll see you in a couple weeks. Have a great day.